Gentleman yields. The chair now recognizes the gentleman from Arizona, Mr. Crane.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to read a headline that was posted about 30 minutes ago on Fox News and a little bit of the article and have you respond to it, sir. Biden DHS reveals 50 migrants still at large as ISIS-affiliated smuggling network brings hundreds to the U.S. The Department of Homeland Security has identified over 400 individuals brought to the U.S. from Eastern European and Central Asian countries by an ISIS-affiliated smuggling network in the past several months, a DH senior official confirmed to Fox News on Wednesday. Officials have arrested over 150 so far that have either been removed, placed in removal proceedings, or are currently receiving additional screening. They would not confirm of how many match the terror watch list. Of the remaining 50 individuals at large, they acknowledge that a small number may match the terror watch list. Can you respond to that article, sir?
So I'll give this generally the same response I gave before, which is, subject to the classified briefing that you'll receive on this, which I know has already been scheduled, which is that my understanding is that while there was a smuggling network and there are a certain number of individuals who came to the smuggling network.
An ISIS-affiliated smuggling network.
There's a smuggling network for which there's an ISIS affiliation. There has not been any evidence put forward that any of those individuals were terrorist operatives.
Why is this still being allowed to happen, sir?
Why is the smuggling network being allowed to happen?
Yeah, I mean, why are we consistently seeing stories like this?
I can tell you that we are very focused on the smuggling networks, and our colleagues at HSI and FBI and others are zeroing in on these networks. And a lot of what we've done at DHS is to work with the FBI to get a clear understanding of the networks out there. And this is, we spend a lot of time helping to clarify the picture of what the networks are so that we can anticipate whether any of those networks are involved in terrorism.
And I appreciate that you guys are doing that, but wouldn't you say, sir, that you can have all the intelligence in the world, but if you don't have leaders who are willing to execute on that intelligence, it doesn't really matter, does it?
Well, also, what you do need also, and this is one thing I think that's important, and you asked about what I need or we need, we could use more resources to vote to the border, both DHS but also INA. The more people we have down there interviewing folks along the border, the more likely we're going to find out about bad actors coming across.
And you say that because you know that your headshed, your leadership, won't actually change any of the policies, right?
I say that because that's a truism, that right now we're operating with relatively scant resources.
Let me ask you this then. Would we need to surge more people to the border, the same exact southern border that we've had now, if your administration was actually doing its job in protecting the American people?
Well, look, I'm not going to get into sort of platitudes one way or the other than to say that we're going to go where we see the intel need to be. And from when I went through my confirmation hearing, and your colleague from Texas asked me about the border, and I said, based on what I know as a private citizen outside the government still, that's an area where we need to focus our intelligence efforts. That hasn't changed since I got in. So we're going to continue to focus there.
Yeah, let me shift real quick to the advisory board. According to a May 17, 2024 department press release, DHS decided to rebrand the experts group as the Homeland Intelligence Advisory Board. The 19 members of the disbanded experts group have simply been reconstituted as members of the board. This is troublesome given that it appears DHS is attempting to mislead Congress and the American public by simply renaming a controversial advisory committee. We have also learned that DHS has exempted this board from public notice, reporting, and open meeting provisions that are normally required by the Federal Advisory Committee Act. Why is this, sir?
Well, let me just clarify one thing, because whenever I hear a question with the word mislead, I feel I've got to respond to that. There was no misleading done at all. In fact, if you look at the settlement agreement, the public settlement agreement that ended the litigation that led to us disbanding the original group, we said we have the right to constitute a new group under the FACA law. And we said that in black and white. The other party, the litigation, accepted it. The judge accepted it.
That's great. Real quick, sir, is it true that Mr. Brennan and Mr. Clapper are on this advisory group?
They were on the original experts group, and as we announced, we will be seeking.
Didn't both of those gentlemen say that the Hunter Biden laptop was Russian disinformation?
Both of
Why would you want, my question, sir, is why would you want guys that are putting out very false information publicly to the American people? Why would you want them on your advisory?
I want people who can help us do what I'm talking about here, which is transform an organization. We're trying to transform an intelligence organization. There's one person in the world.
Is telling the truth a part of helping you guys?
Could I answer, please?
Yeah, go ahead.
There's one person in the world who's recently transformed an intelligence agency, the CIA, John Brennan. I don't care what his politics are. I care that he's honest with us, he brings his perspective, and he donates his time to us to help us.
Transformed it good or bad?
That's for others to understand,
Yeah,
to assess.
exactly.
But I want to hear that experience. Jim Clapper, once again, I don't care what his politics are, but he was the director of national intelligence. He coordinated all the different.
I don't care what his politics are as long as he doesn't weaponize them.
Exactly.
But clearly he has.
Well-
And that's why I asked you, didn't both of these guys say that the Hunter Biden laptop was disinformation? And these are intelligence guys. Everybody knew that that laptop was
Chairman.
legitimate. I yield back.
Mr. Chairman,
The gentleman yields back. The ranking member is recognized.
I ask unanimous consent to enter into the record the letter that the gentleman from Arizona is referring to, which outlines why 46 intelligence officials who signed it believed, based on the available information at the time, that the
Can
emails.
the ranking member state the title of the article?
It's the letter that the gentleman from Arizona was referring to. That
objection, so
was
ordered.
signed by multiple intelligence
Without
officials.
objection, so
And,
ordered.
yeah.